Hi guys, in this video we're going to be learning how to calculate the area of a circle. Now before starting this, it would be really good if you already had an understanding of how to calculate area in other shapes such as rectangles and triangles, but it would also be good if you had a basic understanding of algebra as well, because some algebraic thinking does come into calculating the area of a circle. So, to start off with here, we have a circle. And in order to calculate its area, we're going to need to know something about some different parts of the circle. One part in particular, which we're going to come across shortly. But obviously the circle has the circumference, which is the distance around the outside of the circle. It's got its centre. But then we're going to learn two words here. One is the diameter, which is the distance from one edge of the circle to the other, going across the middle, going across the centre. So that would be the diameter, going all the way across. But for calculating area, we're interested in something that is not the diameter, but just half of the diameter, and that's called the radius. So the diameter is all the way across, but the radius, which we're just going to call r here, is just half of the diameter. So if we ever want to know what the radius is, we just measure all the way across a circle to work out the diameter and then half it. Now, the area of a circle uses the radius. Actually, it uses the radius squared, and we multiply that by a special number called pi. Now pi, although it doesn't look like a number, is actually a number. We're just using the letter pi to stand in for a particular number. And that number is actually very, very long. It goes on much further than this graphic shows you, but if we're rounding it fairly generously, it rounds to 3.14. But it actually goes on for, well, possibly infinitely. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to be using pi as just meaning 3.14 in this case. So, the area of a circle is pi, which is 3.14, times whatever the radius is, squared. So all we really need to know to work out the area of a circle is the radius. That's how simple it is. If you know the radius, you can work out the area of any circle. So let's put this into practice then. We have a circle here, and I can tell you that its diameter all the way across from edge to edge is 8. Therefore its radius from the centre to the edge is 1, 2, 3, 4. So the radius is 4. So we know that area equals pi r squared already. Now let's put that into terms that we actually know. Area then is pi, which is 3.14, times the radius, which is 4 squared. So to work out the area, I'm going to have to do 3.14 times 4 squared. Well, let's just solve one bit at a time. So I'm going to start off with the 4 squared. 4 squared is just 4 times 4, the answer to which is 16. So 3.14 times 16 will give us our answer. Now, I could do this as a formal multiplication sum. I could actually do some sort of working to calculate this, but the easiest thing to do is just use a calculator in this case. Often calculators will actually have a pi button on them, but if it doesn't, 3.14 will be close enough for you to get a reasonable answer. The answer I get then is 50.24, and that, if this was centimetres, because it's area, it would be in centimetres squared. Now, just a word of warning, because I've not used pi properly, because I've only used 3.14, my answer is not exact in this case. If I do this on a calculator with a pi button on it, I get 50.265. So it's actually, and several other digits after that. So rounding pi like this gives us a slightly inaccurate answer, but for the purposes of this, it's close enough for us to have a reasonable estimate. In this final example then, we've got a slightly smaller circle. The diameter of this circle is 6, and so the radius, going from the centre to the edge, is going to be 3. So radius equals 3. Now, we know already the area equals pi r squared. Well, we know the radius, so we can replace that with 3. So it's really pi times 3 squared. Well, the easiest thing to solve in that is the 3 squared. That's going to be 9. And we're going to write pi as 3.14. So it's really going to be 3.14 times 3 squared, which is 9. The answer we get to that, when we plug it in a calculator, is 28.26, and that'll be square centimetres. Now, doing it on a calculator properly, we get, again, a slightly different value, which is 28.27, and it goes on again, 43338, so on and so forth, centimetres squared. But we can see they are close enough. They're very, very close to each other. So it's better if you have a calculator that actually has the real value of pi on it. If it actually has a pi button on it, that's far more effective. But if not, then you can just write pi as 3.14. So that's how to calculate the area of a circle. Work out the radius, square it, times it by pi, hey presto. Cheers guys!